Last time on the Matt Murphy Show.
Genuine question. Why is she doing this way? Why are they doing this way?
It's pandering. It's just pandering.
It's showtime. Information fueled, opinion driven. This is the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7.
Hello, kids. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show getting underway for another day. 12:06. What's going on with y'all? Hope everybody's doing well on this election day. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Allow me very quickly to get the pleasantries out of the way, and then we'll move on with some things. Now, those of you who have been listening through the course of the week, you know that we have been speed candidating throughout the week. What that means is, for you newbies in the audience, we don't schedule any politicians during the week of Election Day. And Election Day is today, but we allow any and all candidates that are on the ballot to call us up if they so desire at 615-737-9986 and to talk with us. And that sometimes includes old friends who we communicate with on a regular basis. And I think we have one of those old friends on the hotline right now, the Matt Murphy hotline. So we'll get to that old friend just in a moment. It is episode 623 of our proceedings today. It's Locks for Trump Day 152. I have not cut my hair in 152 days, KGB, and that is for Donald J. Trump. I announced on March 1st that I would not cut my hair again until we had a new president-elect. And this is before Joe Biden dropped out of the race. How about that?
Were you like, okay, I can keep my hair better? Are you more confident in cutting your hair with Kamala, or were you more confident with Biden?
That is a great question. That's a great question. I would have been more confident with Joe Biden because Joe Biden is a malfunctioning human being. No offense to Joe and his family. We'll get into more of that coming up in just a moment. But in the spirit of speed candidating, we have somebody on the line that whose voice might be familiar to you. I saw her at a Senate committee just earlier in the week, asking pointed questions, the right questions, I might add, to the acting Secret Service director regarding the activities of Butler, Pennsylvania, not 3 weeks ago. She was on the ballot. As a matter of fact, about 2 hours ago, I voted for Senator Marsha Blackburn to continue her role as one of our United States senators in Washington, D.C., and she has joined us on our speed candidating day. Hello, Marsha. How are you?
I am doing so well, Matt, and happy Election Day to you and everyone who is listening. And you're right, we had quite a hearing with the acting Secret Service director and the deputy FBI director, and still we have no answers as to what went wrong and who was in charge and who was responsible. But we added to our list of questions and gave the Secret Service director and the FBI deputy director a series of things they are to submit to the committee in the next week.
Does it? Are you aware of the chatter, not just in the state of Tennessee, but around the United States of America, that results from this absence of information? I have an old saying that I've been saying for years, Marsha, that a lack of information leads to speculation, and the speculation about whether someone within, some of the rumors are growing in their number because of a lack of information forthcoming from the FBI and the Secret Service. And that concerns me greatly because these are already institutions that a lot of Tennesseans have lost a lot of trust in.
Well, you're right about that. And that's one of the points that I brought up with the Secret Service director when I mentioned to him the whistleblower email that came out during our hearing. And then, of course, he had seen that just prior to going into the hearing. And then we heard that the Secret Service had immediately removed that email from their server. And I told him, I said, this lends to that air of distrust. When Kimberly Cheadle would not spend 5 minutes with 4 U.S. senators who wanted answers from her because we had been on a phone call with her that afternoon. She would not answer the questions. We were all left in the queue. And then we find out she's hosting a cocktail party there at the convention. We go up to meet her. She won't give us the answers. And then lo and behold, the woman breaks into a run, running away from us. And, Matt, these are the kind of things that pile on. And as I told her that day when we were trying to get answers from Cheadle, I said, look, if you won't answer our question, this leads to people saying they're going to fill that information vacuum. And, of course, we now know that the Secret Service and the FBI have conducted interviews with over 450 people who were at that rally. Many people had video footage. And, of course, we saw the footage that came out yesterday where you can see the shooter running on the roof. And I also, at the hearing, went after that deputy director over the social media accounts of the shooter. He referenced only one. It was when the guy was 14 or 15 years old, and he had some anti-immigrant, anti-Semitic writings on that. But the Secret Service, the FBI deputy director neglected to mention the Gab account, and the Gab account has pro-illegal immigration, pro-lockdown, leftist writings and leanings. Mm-hmm. And then we understand there are two others. But, of course, the Gab account was the more current account. And I told him, I said, you can't do this. You know what we need is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Secret Service is responsible for protecting 31 people. And I said, this is not like a bad day at the office where you don't hit your casework totals or you have a budget shortfall. When the Secret Service screws it up, people die. And that is exactly what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Changing the subject on the issue of Title IX, I believe that the rewrite that the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration, I should note, was engaged in goes into effect today. On the same day, we see an Italian boxer have to give up her dream of a gold medal at the 2024 Olympic Games because it was demanded upon her that she box a man. Any thoughts on the Title IX changes going into effect and this idea that we're allowing men into women's sports? I know that Riley Gaines has spoken much about this from Tennessee, and we appreciate her voice on this. I know you know Riley well. Marsha, any thoughts on this? I mean, you
yes,
have
indeed.
you have a lot of experience being a part of politics was traditionally a man's world back in the day, and you were one of the ones to break some of those ceilings, those glass ceilings. Talk to us about this.
Yes, indeed. And I've done a lot of work on trying to protect women and Title IX for women. Indeed, I've got a great resolution, and I've been working on this. We've got, I think, about 35 co-sponsors on it right now. It's called American Girls in Sports Day, and we are honoring women in sports. And Riley and I've got some activities planned around this because it's going to be October 10th. In Roman numerals, that is XX. And 2X chromosomes is a gal. Don't you love it, Matt? We're going to have so much fun. But we need to honor American girls and allow them to practice hard and to excel. And I have been all over the NCAA because they have dragged their feet on this. I've been all over the Olympic Committee, and yesterday I was able to get Senator Warner. He and I filed a resolution or a bill. It's dealing with the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. And they have been sweeping under the rug some of these performance-enhancing drugs, etc., that athletes take. And we are putting a marker down where if we find WADA is not leveling with the Olympic Committee and other of these committees and giving a level playing field to our athletes, we're going to cut their money. And bear in mind, we now have this bipartisan. It's Warner and I. And in the House, we have a Republican and a Democrat. We have Chairman Molinar, who is leading the Select Committee on China, and then with him, the ranking Democrat, Krishnamurthy, is on it. So it is bipartisan, bicameral, and we have got to get in behind this and stop this so that our girls and women have the opportunity to compete, to excel, to win, and to be successful in their sport.
Our guest, Senator Marsha Blackburn, on this election day, we're speed candidating. That's what I've been calling it all week, Marsha, speed candidating on election week. Obviously, I know you want folks to get out to the polls and vote. I was a little surprised to see your name on the ballot, on the Republican primary ballot, but I did, and I was proud to vote for you. Any work? I mean, you're doing great work in D.C. Obviously, you got the you got the bill passed out of the Senate. It was actually a bipartisan piece of legislation, believe it or not, with your colleague Richard Blumenthal. It's called the Kids Online Safety Act. I didn't want to leave you without asking you about that and your hopes for consideration in the House of Representatives.
Yes, indeed. We were able to get that through 91-3 on the vote, 72 senators, completely bipartisan. And, you know, when you've got Blackburn, Cruz, Blumenthal, and Schumer doing a press conference, you think this probably is about as bipartisan as it is going to get. But the Kids Online Safety Act is something that we've got hundreds of organizations, Heritage Foundation, America First Policy Institute, so many organizations support this. It would put the burden on social media platforms to do safety by design, to have a duty of care for young people, to open those algorithms, to have a toolbox for kids and parents so they can control those settings. And it would also require them to have a portal where kids and parents can report bad actors that are in the virtual space. You know, some of these pedophiles, drug dealers, sex traffickers, people that are pushing suicide ideation, people that are pushing eating disorders, so they could get them off these sites, these social media, platforms. And we know that this is something whose time has come. We've got a lot of support out of House leadership. We are looking forward to moving it forward quickly in the House. The parents who have worked with us on this, and I've got a lot of Tennessee parents and kids who have worked with us on this, we are thrilled, just thrilled that we've seen so much progress and so much bipartisan support. It's been a 3.5-year project, but it is time for us to rein in big tech.
No question about that. Speaking of big tech, final question for you, Senator Blackburn, and it has to do with the presidential election. Last time we talked, we had a different candidate on the Democrat side. I'm referring to Kamala Harris as candidate 0 because 0 represents the number of votes she's ever gotten for president of the United States, either in a primary or otherwise. But it seems as if the media has decided that she will be coronated into this position, and I suppose that's the Democrats' prerogative. I'm fascinated by the fact that she's avoided the media. She hasn't had a press conference. She's not answering questions. Donald Trump's going into hostile territory yesterday in Chicago and answering any and all of the questions. What do you make of the race shakeup now that Kamala Harris will be the presumptive Democrat nominee?
You know, I called a couple of my friends that are Democrats over the weekend, and I asked them, I said, what do you think about this? Well, they didn't like feeling as if their vote had been lost in the primary. And like one of them said, she didn't want a leftist. She hadn't voted for Bernie. She hadn't voted for Elizabeth. She thought Joe Biden would be a moderate. And she finds out Kamala Harris is to the left of Bernie Sanders. You know, 2019, when GovTrack rated me the most conservative U.S. senator, they rated her the most liberal U.S. senator. And then I've got to tell you, I think that a lot of Democrats, that this is going to be something that deflates their vote come November, because people feel like their vote doesn't matter, that the party bosses got together and said, hey, Joe, you can't win. And so they said, we're going to put Kamala in here. And now it is Kamala not giving interviews, not answering questions. And Kamala's record is that she wanted to defund the police. She wanted to do away with ICE. She wanted to end cash bail. She is for the Green New Deal. She is for ending all oil and gas production in the United States. She wants to end private health insurance and have it all government control. She was the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, and inflation has gone through the roof, and she will not come out in support of Israel. She even skipped Benjamin Netanyahu's address when he came to D.C. So those are her positions. And now the mainstream media is out here. They're trying to cover it up. They're trying to erase all of this video. And they even took down the GovTrack rating. I said, look, I've got that one at MarshaBlackburn.com. Anybody that wants to see it, you can go there and you can take a look at it. I was proud to be the most conservative senator in the U.S. Senate. And so what they're trying to do is remake her in a marketable image so that she will appeal to moderates. They're now saying, well, she doesn't want to end fracking. Well, she's on the record. They're saying, well, she didn't really want to end private health insurance. Well, no, she was on the record with that one. So they need to be careful what they ask for. And it's like one of my Democratic friends said, who are they going to pick for VP? See, we've had no vote. We got shut out of this. And I just don't think that's going to sit well with a lot of folks. 14.5 million Democrat primary voters were told your vote doesn't matter. Your guy can't win. We're taking him out.
Yep. I mean, they're trying to reclaim her and repair her disastrous leftist voting record in the United States Senate and beyond. Marsha, always good to catch up with you. It's voting day. We encourage people to get out and vote early, vote often, as I like to say. Thank you, Senator, for your time, and we'll do it again very soon.
You got it. Take care, my friend.
All
Bye-bye
right.
now.
All right. See you soon. There's Marsha Blackburn. By the way, for those of you challenging me, yes, I let her speak over 5 minutes. That's on me. But we didn't schedule that. She abided by the same rules as every other candidate during this election week, speed candidating. She called us. I did not schedule. Their team reached out and I said, I can't schedule anything this week. Here's what we're doing. And they said, well, can we call in? And I said, sure. And they asked me the best time that I thought for them to call in. And I thought, well, right at the top of the show, you might not have anybody in front of you on the line, which is what they did. But we've got others coming in. 1223, Supertalk 99.7 WTN, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. It's episode 623 of The Matt Murphy Show on Supertalk.